The reason that I chose to do this program and the course, mainly because I really wanted to study abroad and get an experience of seeing another culture and experiencing how people live that I'm not familiar with. Like, I've grown up in the Midwest, from the suburbs, and I've never been to Asia. And so that's something I really wanted to do. And this course also happened to count for 2 of my CAP credits that I still needed. So it ended up being really beneficial for me, both academically and this cultural experience that I got to have.
Yeah, and similarly, I also wanted to study abroad. I was looking at a lot of different programs, and I wasn't sure. I felt like I didn't want to do like a certain part of the country, like Dublin or like Ireland, anything like that. But as soon as I kind of saw this poster, and it was for the Korea program, and I'd always wanted to go to somewhere like Tokyo, Japan, Korea, somewhere to experience that type of metropolitan city and Asian culture. And it felt like the perfect opportunity. I knew the professor, the class that I was taking counted towards credit. So overall it was very beneficial, and it felt so right. From this program, I gained a lot of cultural experience. With our professor, her program, she had a lot set up for us to plan out to experience all different parts of the Asian culture. So it wasn't like you show up and then you're kind of set free. She had a plan to make sure that we touched on every single different aspect of the country. So we had a spirituality, we had nature, we had a beach day, we had a food culture day, a college exploration day where we toured different universities. So we got to touch on every different part of the country.
What we had in class, we learned like the academics of what the class was, and we learned about that during the semester. But during this program, we focused a lot more on the culture and like experience of being in another country that we're not familiar with. And we learned about history, nature, spirituality, everything Jake mentioned. And that really helped orient our days and make it feel less like we're just tourists on a vacation, and more that we're actually there to be immersed in the culture and to really learn about and experience what South Korea has to offer.
The best part of the program to me was definitely the people, but it also comes very close to the food. The people that we met, all the great friends, we stayed at a monastery, so all those sisters that we met, they were all great people. We talked about how I mentioned friends, and we had made friends in Seoul for our first week where we stayed, and we had made some friends when we went to Busan, and they all showed us like it wasn't just like we go to the tourist locations, it was like we really got to get that genuine experience, especially being with locals and having, Professor Kwon with able to make those connections with us. It really made the whole trip just a completely unbelievable experience. Something I would have never thought that I would ever experience.
Agreeing with Jake, I would say that the best part of the program was the people, and specifically the buddy system that Professor Kwon implemented, which, like he said, every day, whether it was in Seoul or Busan, the 2 places we stayed, we met people that were local to that area, and not just people that she knew that were older or her colleagues. It was kids in their 20s. So it was really great for us to experience having that connection with other kids around our age, our peers, and to be able, like Jake said, to see what the culture is like to be, as we are, college kids in another country. So that buddy system was something that I have never experienced before, never even thought would be possible or would be something that would be implemented. And it was by far the best part of the trip, was having those connections and being able to really experience what it's like to be a college kid there.
So when I was in Korea, I'm a graphic design major, and so what I wanted to do to kind of connect my relationship with my with this study abroad program and my major was doing a photography portfolio. And with this photography portfolio, I took pictures of anything and everything that I thought was interesting, and I ended up with 800 photos and 500 videos. And I still show them to all my friends and my family just to show them what it's like there. They hear about, stuff that can go on around the world, see stuff in the news, but I feel like the news and all these other places don't portray it in the way that we experienced it. It's everybody's so kind, the places are so beautiful, it's so clean, it's so fresh, and nobody ever really sees much about it. And so if I could share something with other people, it would be all the pictures and the stories I had to tell of the people, and definitely the food. I think I tried maybe like 5 new things every single day. It was amazing. It all tasted amazing.
Yeah, I would echo the same things that he said. If I was going to tell someone about this trip, besides saying all the normal things that everyone says when they come back from another country, like, oh, it was amazing, I saw this and that, and got to do all these cool activities and meet all these people, I would just say that you don't really know what the culture is like in a place until you actually go there. Jake brought up a good point about like the news and media, and I feel like a lot of people have some stigma or something from mainstream media that is like, oh, like Asian cultures are a little bit like, they're more hesitant to go to Asian places than they are to European places, probably. And the main thing that I got from this trip is that you can't just believe that stuff, and you have to really go and experience for yourself, because like we've both said, it was an amazing experience. The people were amazing, the food was great, and you're gonna hear all the same things that people say about coming back from European trips that we're gonna say about coming back from this trip to South Korea. In general, for study abroad, I would just say to be open to the idea of doing it.
Absolutely.
When I first came to UD, I had no idea that I ever wanted to study abroad. And just after, especially coming in during the COVID year, it was off the table for me basically from the start. But once things started opening back up and there were more opportunities to do this, I really started to look into it. And it turned out to be a fantastic experience. So the main thing I would say is just to be open and to like actually look at doing these programs. And then for South Korea, or for studying abroad into an Asian country rather than a European one, I know that a lot of people look at going to a European one first just because that is more normal to us as people from America. It's a slightly more similar culture. But the same thing holds true, is just to like be open and to enjoy experiencing new things. And college is the time to do that. It's a lot easier to travel to different countries through UD than it is to try to do it all yourself. So yeah, that's probably the main thing that I would share with students for studying abroad.
It's exactly what Matthew said. It's just being able to keep an open mind to all these experiences. It can be, so scary thinking like, oh, you're gonna be so far away from everybody you know. Oh, it's so far away from school. You're gonna be on your own. What if I don't like the people? But being fearless and just letting all of those worries go away and keeping an open mind changes the whole experience. I remember when I was first getting on the flight, I was pretty emotional because it was my first time traveling alone, and
across the country.
On the complete opposite side of the world. So it was a pretty big step into the deep end, but man, I'm so glad that I made that step, because I wouldn't be where I am without that trip. That experience changed my life, and just going in and not being afraid, you're in a complete different part of the world. And the best part about that is people know that. They see an American over in Korea and they're like, I wonder if he knows how to use his chopsticks well, or I wonder if he knows like meal manners, or it's a phenomenal experience to keep an open mind and consider everything that's being thrown at you, just to experience it and see the beauty that can come out of all of these opportunities that come to you.